Hey blues guys and gals, I'm back again, and this time we are actually going to do a sound demo of this guitar. Alright, I'm sorry I took a little bit of time there to come back at you. I wanted to give it a full playthrough for a few weeks before I just came on here and blurted out a bunch of like nonsense. You know, I've made videos in the past. I'm not saying everyone's a hater, but there's been videos where I come up with like things off the top of my mind, and then people go in the comments for like 5 days about something that I mentioned in the video once. So I just made sure I'll be very clear about everything that I'm transpiring in this, okay? And no, this does not have a volute on it. For my folks that remember that video, no, there's no volute on this one, okay? I now know what a volute is. Thank you very much. We're learning together here, you see, okay? So this is the Epiphone 1959 Joe Bonamassa Les Paul Custom with Bigsby. The Bigsby is all gold. I mentioned in the unboxing that's something I really like about this one, the all gold aesthetic. I always told myself back in the day, before I ever dreamed of having guitars like this, I seen one at the pawn store sitting underneath the glass at the pawn shop. It was underneath the glass. It must have been there for a couple years, but it was all black and all gold, and it didn't have the Bigsby on it. So I remember I always wanted that thing, and I could never afford it. And then this one popped up, and my grandma's like, hey there, boy. I see you've been getting real good at guitar there." She's like, "Which guitar do you want?" I was like, "Grandma, the Joe Bonamassa one just came out. You wanna give me that one?" So I know not all people are as lucky as I am. I'm a pretty lucky dude. There's only 999 other people in the world that have this guitar. The official stats, like that Joe says, well, he doesn't give official stats. He says 1,500-ish or less every year. So how it actually worked out is there was 1,000 of these made with the block inlays, and there was 300 of them made with the Joe Bonamassa signature. And you can only order those. If anybody was wondering if they wanted one, you can probably still order those from joebonamassa.com directly. Quick plug for Joe Bonamassa. But yeah, now we're going to go into details about this guitar. Enough jibber jabberish, but I know y'all know how to use the skip forward button and skip forward to what you actually want to see in the video. Yeah, we will do a sound demo. First of all, what am I going to do? You've probably heard all the generic stuff already. Like, I'm sure you guys all know what kind of parts are in here. You probably know what electronics are back here and what pickups are in here. Okay, so I don't need to tell you much about the hardware, the electronics. What I am going to tell you about is my personal experience with this guitar. Okay, a lot of people are just say, "Oh, it's a great guitar, it's a great looking guitar." Well, what about it specifically is good, and what are you paying for when you pay for a custom guitar like this? You probably want to know, what are you paying for? Is it just the name, the Joe Bonamassa, or the fact that they call it a custom? Okay, so we're gonna start with some of the first things I noticed about this guitar. Okay, the binding is all very clean. I've had China guitar models sometimes, like Amazon models, where the binding is just not that clean. There will be like mistakes in the binding. So that is the first thing I look at when I'm looking at quality control on a custom, because a custom has multiply binding, folks. Okay, can you see that up close there? I don't know if we got that on the camera, but there's about, here, I'll count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm gonna say 6 or 7 layers of binding. And the purpose, if y'all don't, some people might not know what that's for, it is aesthetics, right? It looks pretty cool, there's that layer, but also you're having a layer of protection if you're ever going to bang your guitar against something. You have a multiply binding layer to protect your guitar. I've had finished guitar finishes with the satin finish, and if you bang the corners around, you got a ding for life. But these ones they're more protective. Okay, So that's an important factor when you're considering an investment for a guitar. You want to make sure it's something that you're not afraid to take out of the case, right? You want to be able to play your investments. Well, I hope you would, at least I do. Okay. Next up, the Grover Imperials. These are speculative. Like, everyone has a different opinion about the Grover Imperials. A lot of people say they look ugly, but I say they hate us because they ain't us, honestly. I think they're just jealous, the people that hate on that, because they're pretty freaking cool, dude. I like them. I like them. I feel like you get a good grip. They feel like they stay in place, they're not loose. You get a good grip on the tuners. You're never like stumbling to find the tuner. That's for damn sure. Okay? And people go on and on about the headstock shape. Honestly, why are we complaining about the headstock shape? Community, like Epiphone community, Gibson community. Why are we complaining about the shape of a headstock? Okay? It makes zero difference how it plays, how it sounds, how it feels. And that's what people want to find to complain about nowadays. I don't know, it's open book, matched book, unmatched, non-book, flip-flop, whatever the heck headstock it is. It's pretty nice to me. And the one thing I will note about the headstock, because everybody's getting mad that the inlays are mother of toilet seat. Okay? I'm sorry, but I will notice that this inlay up top on the headstock is mother of pearl. It's real mother of pearl. And then they went with mother of toilet seat down the fretboard. It still looks fine, and honestly, if you do some research, I'm sure there's some products you can use. You just want to make sure you're taping off your fretboard and appropriately and just getting the squares. But if you want to shine up, for the people that are complaining, like, I got solutions for y'all. Anyway, you Google how to shine up guitar inlays, how to shine pearl inlays. Okay, there's probably 1,000 ways. So if this video hits off about that, or there's an interest in that in the comments, maybe we'll make a video just about that. Okay, should we plug it in here? Oh, I want to say, I don't know if it's because I watched so many negative reviews online that when I first picked up this guitar, I went for the knobs and I was like, oh wow, that's kind of a cheap feeling knob. I was like, oh, that's just a plastic knob on there, kind of cheap, but the more I use them, they're actually good, and they feel like a what's the name for that? The term for that? Correct me in the comments, like you always do, please, folks. But it's like a fast tapering. Or a fast turning pot. I can move it fast back and forth, like the Eddie Van Halen ones. On the Eddie Van Halen Wolfgang Special, you can turn the knobs faster. And that, I don't know, it's sometimes Eddie Van Halen was saying if the knobs are too slow to turn and like you want to do volume swells and stuff, which Joe Bonamassa does sometimes, he says you can wear out your volume pot. So I don't know if that was intentional or if Epiphone was just trying to go for a kind of a higher quality thing on there. But the taper on those are nice, how they move back and forth fast. The taper has a different meaning. I know y'all are going to go off in the comments about what taper is. I don't even need to explain. If you want to know more about this guitar, folks, look in the comments. There's always some comment warriors down there. And I welcome all the comments, by the way, too. There's no such thing as a bad comment unless you're saying a swear word or something that is directly, mean or slanderous to a group of people or somebody. Other than that, say what you want, folks. It's a free world. The yellow binding. Everybody hating on the yellow binding. Oh, my goodness. I'm not even going to touch on that subject. I'm just going to say it. Yellow binding. It is what it is. It is what it is. The frets, even though they are listed as like a medium profile, I'm pretty sure they're listed as a medium fret. They're not listed as a jumbo. But to me, they feel like more of a jumbo than they do a medium. I was wondering if anybody knows, let me know. Or I have a speculation that Epiphone, I think they leave a separate set of fret wire for the custom models. For the Epiphone custom line, I feel like the fret wire feels just slightly different on the custom line than it does on, say, 1950s or 60s Les Paul standard. Okay. This was very frustrating to me. Oh my goodness. If you got one of these, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. The break angle here. Okay, one of the first things after I told you I noticed the cheap knobs, which are not actually cheap, by the way, they're fine. I was just worried about all the bad people saying things online. Not the bad people, sorry, the people saying bad things online. So don't listen to everybody, like take everything with a grain of salt, you know what I mean? But one of the first things I tried to do was lower the bridge posts. I tried to drop the action down right away, right? But as soon as as soon as you get it to where it's right, the action's right, it's still touching at the back here on the saddles. So I was doing some research on that. I've never went as far as to shaving out in your saddles, but you can get some tools, folks, and or pay someone to do this. If anyone's complaining about their Bigsby not working properly, you just need to file your nut slots down or get your nut slots filed down professionally by somebody, and then the strings can move more freely back and forth. And then another thing I did to help the tuning stability, since my strings are resting on the back of a bridge just a little bit on both of the E strings, I tuned it down a half step. So I'm tuned down a half step. It brought the tension down a little bit because that's one of the main things with it touching on the back of the bridge there. The higher you raise it, I feel like you have less tension when you raise the tailpiece. You'll have less tension at your bridge, okay? Anyways, where are we now? Oh yeah, I heard Steely. Shout out to Steely Guitars. Ryan Steely, Brian Steely, whatever it is. I heard that he said in his video that his nut slots were not cut deep enough, that they were kind of high. But I'll say I back A-B'd this with a bunch of Les Pauls, and it's perfect. Like I might have just got lucky or something. I wouldn't really want to get them any lower. Like I don't know if you can catch that on camera. Like here, we'll try. I wouldn't really want to get that any lower. Like it's I don't know, it's pretty close to the fret right there. So mine, maybe I got lucky. And there's all these little things, right, about an Epiphone that need a setup. But the cool thing is, a lot of these big companies nowadays, like Sweetwater, Guitar Works, Long and McQuaid, wherever you're ordering from, they usually come with a free setup. So you know what I mean? So if you're really that worried about things not being perfect, just make sure you take it in for a free setup. And I'm sure there's one or two folks out there that wanted to hear how this sounded. That was a little bit of air out the lungs there. Hey, I had a thing or two to say about this. But that is why we waited a few weeks to come back and do this video. Okay? Not only did I get to do a bit of research on this, but I got to play it, feel it out for myself, come back to you with my full opinion. One last thing I forgot to mention, okay, and then we're going to play it. But I also love the dark ebony fretboard. It's just a very, very dark ebony. Sometimes I've had ebony where there is blemishes or bits of brown in it. And I will say Epiphone, very good job on this fretboard. I feel like they used higher quality wood for their fretboard, and they used higher quality fret wire. The fret wire just feels different. So thank you, Epiphone. You did step up a couple. Everyone's battering Epiphone on the things they didn't do with this model, but they did do some things right, okay? And the body, actually, this is very rare nowadays. It's very cool. I said it was my last thing. I'll turn on my amplifier right now. So while I'm speaking, okay, the amplifier is warming up. The tubes are warming up. Okay. Breathe. Breathe, blue sky. Breathe, blue sky. Oh, tubes are warming up. I did have one more thing to say, but I feel like we best just get playing at this point. Oh yeah, I remember what I had to say. I just have to touch base on this because it's kind of cool. The 1959 Les Paul Custom, or sorry, Black Beauty. It would have been the Black Beauty. Fretless Wonder. But anyways, it originally had a all mahogany body. There's no maple cap on the top, which on most modern Les Pauls, if not all of them, you get a maple cap on the top. So it provides, I don't know, it's controversial about the tone that wood provides, but I think it's neat that they're sticking to the homage of the original roots of this guitar in many ways. All right, so we're just gonna play the thing. Okay, it's gonna be on the bridge pickup. I've been having fun with this guitar. Switch it up to the neck. We're just gonna skip the middle, go right to the neck. That's where it's nice and milky and thick. And some people say muddy on the Epiphone pickups. Let's find out. Let me know if it's muddy in the comments. So I just wanted to play a little bit there for you folks, not showing off or anything, just to be clear. Some people get caught up on skill. This is a review video, okay? Anyways, the point is, I hope you take a listen back if you want to really hear the difference between the neck and the bridge. You can go listen to both of those sound clips there. They should be fairly similar. I tried to play like a medium to slow pace so y'all can really pay attention to the nuances and the picking and the sound. So I'm having fun with this thing. It's really cool. And that might be a few good tips. I'm just going to recap now. This will be usually videos on YouTube. They'll have like a final thoughts, right? So this will be like my final thoughts section of the video. My final thoughts, okay? We're going to recap though. Make sure if you are going to get one of these models, Joe Bonamassa Epiphone, any of the models, they come out every year with a model, by the way, folks. So if you missed the model this year, don't worry, you might get one next year, okay? Save up your coins till next year, and maybe you'll have the cash right when it comes out. They come out in about September, October, and then their goal is to kind of sell out before Christmas each year, is what Joe Bonamassa said. So if you want to save up your coins for next year, or there might even be some of these used on the market. If this is the one you want, there might be some used ones on the market by this time next year. Okay? The Bigsby, it's a bit of a frustrating thing. I would say, like I said, you can file the slots down, have them professionally filed down, or switch your bridge out to a roller bridge. You can Google what a roller bridge will do for your beneficial. It's so that the strings can move freely back and forth when you're using the Bigsby. That's why we have the Bigsby just kind of sitting over here right now, out of commission, because it works. Yes, I've set it up great at this point now where it does work. But even if something's going to put my guitar out a little bit out of tune, I don't really want to mess with it personally, right? So we just set it off to the side there. I'm not going to cry about it because I still love how that Bigsby looks. At the end of the day, call me silly, but I still like how it looks, even if it has to be pushed out of the way. And then if there's ever a song or a time in life when like I really want to play a Bigsby, at least I know I have one, right? I'm sure I can make it work for a song or two if I really have to use it. Okay, so what the advice I'm giving you on this guitar is relative to any guitar that you're buying. Make sure you get it set up, folks. Okay, pay attention to how it's set up. Some guitars, it's not the guitar's fault. Like if something's not perfect, it just needs like a little bit of an adjustment sometimes. Most guitars, even Gibsons, like everything needs a bit of an adjustment eventually at some point or another. So don't get mad when things need adjusting. Pickups are very controversial, so if you want to swap out the pickups, you do your thing. Thanks for coming along, folks. This has been the Epiphone 1959 Joe Bonamassa Les Paul Special. Did I say that right? Cut that. Okay, this has been, folks, the Epiphone Joe Bonamassa 1959 Les Paul Custom. Thanks for coming through, and I'll see you next time. I'm Blues Guy, out.